I knew something was about to happen that I needed to pay very close attention to.
James Comey on the stand. The former FBI director testifies before Congress, calling President Trump a liar and revealing the reason he decided to start writing down the president's every word. Good evening, everyone. I'm Jamison Mueller.
And I'm Wendy Ryan. Thanks for joining us. The 2.5-hour testimony today covered everything from Russia's involvement in the election to President Trump's private dinner with James Comey.
Many major revelations coming out of that hearing, among them Comey saying he kept detailed notes about his meetings with the president because he was worried the president would not tell the truth.
Comey also saying he interpreted the president's remarks about ending the investigation into Michael Flynn as an order, and he encouraged the president to release the tapes of their conversations, if any, actually exist. Let's bring in ABC Action News anchor Paul LeGrone with some unique insight into today's developments.
Yeah, Paul, you were among about 20 journalists who were there at the White House having dinner with the president about 2 weeks after that meeting that Comey had with President Trump. Did he ever mention Comey during that dinner with you?
He talked a lot about the Russia investigation. In fact, the first words out of his mouth when we sat down and we started asking him questions about the investigation was that essentially there's nothing to this Russia story. He said that it was a hoax, and yet we learned today, and so did the world, as former FBI Director James Comey testified that in fact the president, he believes, fired him because of the Russia investigation.
Do you believe the Russia investigation played a role?
And why I was fired?
Yes.
Yes, because I've seen the president say so.
Former FBI Director James Comey testifying today, revealing private conversations with the president during a Valentine's Day dinner at the White House, in which he says the president asked him to let go of the FBI's investigation into Trump's fired National Security Advisor Michael Flynn over his undisclosed communications with Russia.
I mean, this is the president of the United States with me alone saying, I hope this. I took it as this is what he wants me to do.
Comey calling the president a liar multiple times during his testimony, once for how the president justified Comey's firing.
That the workforce had lost confidence in its leader. Those were lies, plain and simple.
And then again when explaining why he decided to start writing down their conversations, even admitting that he went out of his way to make them public.
So my thinking was, if I write it in such a way that I don't include anything that would trigger a classification, that'll make it easier for us to discuss within the FBI and the government.
Comey pressed today on why he didn't push back on the president.
Why didn't you stop and say, Mr. President, this is wrong. I cannot discuss this with you?
It's a great question. Maybe if I were stronger, I would have. I was so stunned by the conversation.
Watching the testimony with our legal expert, Jeff Schwartz.
Well, I think that what we learned from what he's talked about is that there's an ongoing course of conduct.
Conduct only partially aired out today. The classified details disclosed in the secret session that followed Comey's testimony. The truth being sorted out in the shadows.
So now this goes behind closed doors.
Yes.
A whole different arena, whole different set of rules.
A lot more information that is classified that is going to probably, well, a lot of that is already known to this committee, but I think there'll be a lot more that is going to stun them. And I think that they understand, especially the Republicans understand, they're about to get information that they probably don't even want to hear.
And that secret information being disclosed as we stand here tonight. You know, Comey getting criticism tonight, though, for essentially leaking his private memos to the press. And one of the most intense grillings of Comey today actually came from Florida Senator Marco Rubio, who questioned him on why he didn't sound the alarm sooner if he was so concerned about President Trump's behavior. Our legal expert, Jeff Schwartz, who you heard from in the piece, says that Comey didn't want to show his cards because he knew he would be fired and didn't want to halt the Russia investigation. And yet, here we are tonight.
All right. Thank you, Paul.
Interesting to see, if you were a fly on the wall, what that behind closed doors meeting was like today after that testimony.
Incredible.
All right.